And big thanks for staying right here with us. With me in the studio is Chukwu C. Ikechukwu. He is a public affairs analyst, one of our regulars on ATN Society Watch. Good afternoon, welcome.
Good afternoon, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. All right, let's move on to our first story for today. Dr. Emmanuel Chimaobi Ugumba, a 52-year-old medical doctor from Enugu State, had been remanded at the Nigeria Correctional Custodial Center after his arrest for alleged child trafficking and forgery. His arrest on September 28, 2024 was made by the Anti-Kidnapping Tactical Squad following a public notice he published regarding an abandoned child, claiming to be the director of OTZ for the Enugu State Ministry of Gender and Social Development. Upon investigation, Ugumba was found to be involved in child trafficking, with 2 children rescued during the process. Authorities discovered that between 2017 and 2024, he had conspired with others to deliver 7 children from different mothers at his hospital. Ugumba also possessed unauthorized documents from the Ministry of Gender Affairs. He was arraigned on October 9, 2024 and remains in custody pending further hearings. This is a place where people would be so confident to have their babies, in the hospital, and this coming from a doctor. What are your thoughts?
It's a continuation of what we have said over time, that there is a decay in society. This is not the first time you hear cases of child trafficking and even excuse me, what has become popular for not just forgery, for baby factory. But to have it happen in a hospital by a doctor, it's alarming to say the least, because like you noted, it betrays trust. People would want to take it for granted that in a hospital you are in safe hands. Who knows some of the trafficked children? You know, a reference has been made to him helping to delivering 7 children who you can't trace, you know. But that's even one side of it. What of perhaps it's possible that somebody who wasn't even in justice is served at the end of the day, and beyond the legal trial. I hope the Nigerian Medical Association should be looking into this, and I think they should, if I were to suggest to them, I don't have the final say, but if I were to suggest to them, people like this should have their license withdrawn. And again, this points to the fact of morality. We can't overemphasize the place of morality in our system. There's something, another thing that comes to my mind is this: it shows that there is a need in society. Those who cannot not naturally have baby need baby, and there is a legal process of adopting baby. How efficient is that? Because I think this is also time for those in the Ministry of Justice to, you know, conduct a research, a study or something, to know why people would prefer the illegal approach to the legal approach. Are there encumbrances that make this one difficult, or are they even aware of it? Some of these people who go to this, who patronize these people to have child, some of them may not have intended to do something illegal, but like you said, somebody just said, oh, go to this village, so they don't even know the legal implication. They don't even know that it's a crime. They don't even know. I mean, they are just out of desperation acting. This is where our system should come in, you know, enlighten people. Let those who need children, who can't have children naturally, know that there's a legal means, there's a society approved means of adopting children. And you do it in such a way that you don't get into trouble, the child become legally yours, you are not looking at your back, than having a system where you have adopted a child, which in itself is not bad, but you have done it in such a way that can get you into trouble. And these people, because these guys, they milk people, it's like this is what they practically do, is sell those kids. And the idea that a child is even sold, or a human is even sold, it not just staggers my imagination, but it raises more questions than answer. Why commoditize human being? The world should be adopted, not selling of children, for crying out loud. So I think our system the ministries in charge, Ministry of Social Welfare, and whatever ministries in charge, depending on what they should. It's high time they started taking a look at our child adoption process with a view of enlightening the society. Let people know that there is a legal way of adopting children, and if there are hindrances that make it difficult, not appealing to people, of course they may not remove all the difficult areas as it were, because there's also need to have some of those checks so as to ensure that those children are being adopted for right purposes. So you cannot say, oh, remove all the difficult side because they check, but people should understand why they should go through the right process. Then where there are some challenges that can be done away with, those can be done away to ensure that as easy as possible people legally have children. But I think there should be an enlightenment for people to know that there is a legal way to get children. And then our security agencies, they've been doing well in covering some of these activities, but I think we all need to do more to rid our society of this thing. I mean, we are talking of human being here, commoditization of humans, babies. It doesn't.
And these people could be, they are people, even if they are children, they are people.
Yeah,
these people could be bought for wrong reasons. We never really know the reason.
Which is why the government system becomes a check, because at least there is a documentation.
Yes, and we're talking about the illegal places that they buy these children.
Yes, I agree with you.
Because for them to want to go illegal, it shows that there's something that, aside the ones you said might not be aware, for the ones who are fully aware, there could be a reason they are going illegal.
So it could even be for further trafficking. I mean, trafficking out of the shores of this country, which you never can tell. But the thing is that for anybody who is aware of illegal means and up to illegal means, once you commoditize it, you don't have a way of checking what they do with the children. It's business done.
And you're done.
Paid, So whatever they do with the children is up to them. But if you go through the government system with the checks in place, government have a way of documenting that so person took so child, maybe have a way of even monitoring you for a period of time to even ensure that the welfare of those children are taken care of, to ensure that you are capable. They even ascertain your capability of taking care of those children, not just your financial capability, but your, you are in the right frame of mind.
Your mental,
your mental health as regards to a child, because indeed not everybody you can adopt a child and turn the child to something else in the house, become negligent and careless. Those are the things that, if you go through the government approval, the welfare, they have a way of monitoring and documenting to ensure that that child develop the potential it should have. So I think there is need for proper enlightenment for people to know how to get this. Maybe it should be talked about at hospitals. Signs should be placed everywhere. Let people know that, oh, there is a legal means. Yeah, it may take more time. It may not be convenient, but the benefit in the long run is better off.
And that's on both sides, but people who want children and people who do not want children.
Yeah, who want to give up their children.
So we don't keep seeing babies in absurd places then hearing that they're selling them
somebody
off.
Abandoning children, like those who don't want baby, maybe a young girl that has been put in the family ways. If you can give up the child for adoption, but doing it the proper way, go to the government agency. And this is not in any way encouraging people to give up their children. No, but there could be genuine reasons why people may want to give up their children.
Look at it, the way these children are being taken care of in these places, in orphanage homes, whether government or in private, this is another area that should be looked into. I remember some years ago we went to a particular orphanage home. The way the children were looking, you ask questions like, are there people coming here? Is there any sort of care that is being shown on these children? And some orphanage homes, that's how you see, that's the state that you see the children at the end of the day.
You see, they know that they can sell off those children. So the best way to make it look safe is start up the so-called orphanage, which may just be nothing but a pseudo market for people to come take children. I mean, if you can't attract donation or whatever to take care of those children, if you don't even have the love of the children to take care of them, why run an orphanage?
So you actually know why people do that, just in disguise.
Cases have been seen where, you know, orphanages where the owners were arrested, even the authorities even claimed that maybe they were not properly licensed and all those things. So many things you have seen over time happen. I mean, they are on the news everywhere. So it also goes to show that the decay in society seems to have caught up with everything.
Right, and this calls for more attention in these orphanage homes, both from government.
Those more who has the responsibility of monitoring orphanages, like the one you said, going there, doesn't look like they are taking care of them. Somebody should have had the duty of monitoring them from the government, because they register through government. If it's a legal one, they register. And I think one of the registration process should be your ability to take care of them.
And periodic checks. Periodic checks are important.
Yeah, so that the things donated for the children are not
actually used.
Absolutely.
Because that could be, people could be funny.
Absolutely.
Could find out that the things that are being donated could not be used for the children. Maybe sold or something. That is very pathetic, because if a human being can sell another human being, you can never really tell what they can do. All right, let's move on to the next story. We're going to Ondo State now. Female SS3 students from the Akoko Anglican Grammar School in Ondo State has been arrested for allegedly stabbing a male classmate to death following an argument outside the school. Ondo State Commissioner of Police Abayomi Oladipupo confirmed the arrest and noted that the case has been transferred to the Criminal Investigation Department for further investigation. During a media briefing, he also announced the arrest of 12 other suspects involved in various crimes, including murder and armed robbery. As the state approaches its governorship election, Oladipupo urged politicians to maintain peace and warned against any form of violence or intimidation. Okay, let's go back to the very first part of the story now that talked about the female students, SS3 students, you know, stabbing.
It goes back to morality. What have we become? Of course, we have instances where some schools, secondary school in some states has more or less become war college. I mean, every time you hear, I used to have that experience back when you hear that, oh, this school, when you mention a particular school, everybody knows that, oh, that school, they fight. It even seems as if they have a timetable on the days to fight. And in most cases, the authorities of the school appear helpless because, I mean, those schools, the students are wide. But collectively we can do something. I mean, this is not a good news. It's not good news on both sides, both the death and the one who killed somebody, because if she's these things at times they may require a mini research, if not a full-blown research, to look into the cause of this thing. For example, the girl that has stabbed somebody to death, how did it happen? What weapon did she use? Did she come with the weapon from there, or is this something she just picked up on the floor and happened? So if it is something, maybe there is an argument, you grab whatever is close to you, and that's a different case. But if it's so that some of them, like I've seen some of them carry weapons, you know, they don't even know the implication of what they're about to do until they have done it, and it's as if a wool is put off there and it's already late. You go in for it, you can't say you are ignorant or not, but well, however you look at it, society have been deprived of two young people, the one that died and the one that committed the crime. Yes, sadly, because you never can tell what any of them, if properly raised, would have become. After all, they are students. If they have been properly raised, who knows? Maybe you had a potential doctor, lawyer, something. And even if they don't go that far to become top society, I mean, it's terrible.
Maybe we should really talk about how violence should be managed, prevented as much as you can in our schools. Now, when it's a private, something came to mind, but people might want to say, oh, that's when it's a private school. But you could have checks. You could have the students checked, properly checked, before they come into the school.
It could be done with government school. I think it's even easier to have it in government school, because I mean, government schools are public institutions, much as the private schools are also public institutions run by private individuals. Yes, but if it has to save life, we can have checks, and like say maybe even look at the curriculum. Of course, I know secondary schools have fantastic curriculum like civic education, you know, security studies and others. Maybe it's time to even jig these things a little bit. To we really need to come out of this. It's not something we want to hear again and again.
Exactly.
It's not something we want to hear. So something should be done to ensure that these things don't happen.
The limitations with some public schools now might be because of the environment, the building. Sometimes you have the fence very low, and the children can just jump in and jump. You know what these children can do sometimes. And some other times you hear, instead of coming through the gates, they might come through the fence, or you hear somebody throwing something in, and you know, things like that. And then the premises is usually very big. So how do you even check every area? That's for the authorities in the schools. But you see, private schools, it's usually more organized, where you just have the children coming through the gate, and then you can do a proper check before they can come in.
Yeah, I can relate to what you said, like, you know, talking of schools and rural area, where I did youth service years ago, and I remember it's an open place, and when I say open, it's a vast place. It's as, the land is as, can carry an estate, you know, but there is no particular entry point or exit point. You can come in wherever you like, on and exit wherever you like. The place is not fair.
One of the issues that we have.
Yeah, so security measures should help the authorities understand that one of the security measures should be having the place fenced properly, so that you have a particular exit point and entry point. Then if you have an entry point and exit point, then you can talk of checking those who come in, how they come in. I mean, here somebody can come in from a bush corner and through by the window it's a bush. So, see, talking of the rural area, I remember vividly, students come to school with cutlasses because they go to farm from there.
That is another thing. So those things that they come to school with, so that they can
could
clear.
Be weaponized at any point in time. That is not supposed to be. These are agreed, they may be needed in the school system, but the school should have a way of having, I mean, if the school want to do any menial job, they have their own storehouse where they have their own tools, get it after the work, retrieve from the student and taking back, and not allow. I mean, it doesn't even give a good sight. Like the place I'm talking about, where I served, the path to the school, it's a bush path. So if you're even walking on that part, especially for some of us who, that was our first time of beholding such I mean, coming from,
I think I can relate to that part.
And you're coming from bush, and even though not going too far from what we are discussing, the incident was said to have happened outside school. But like we noted, if the weapon was, if the child had,
they have to play things like this. Now we have children in a classroom, and we have certain children who have some sort of moral background, and you find out that the way they act different from other children who might not have any sort of monitoring at home. They can just leave and do whatever they want. That's in itself
danger to the
exactly.
Yeah, it comes to, you know, if the system, the teachers monitors their pupils very well, they could easily notice a child with a somewhat antisocial behavior, and have a way of notifying the school authority and the parents. So collectively, that can be dealt with if it's a challenge from the house, whatever the case is. But where the monitoring is not there, it leaves much to be desired.
All right, so the parents should actually put their eyes down.
It's a collective responsibility.
Okay, not just the parents now.
The parents, the school, the larger society, neighbors. If we should have if I notice an antisocial behavior with my from a neighbor's child, have a way of, maybe you may not have the authority of going after the child, have a way of notifying the parents. You know, you talked of other crimes some time ago. Like in other crimes, you have a way of notifying authorities that, oh, look at so.
Yes.
We shouldn't always wait for things.
Sometimes in some of these schools, it seems like the teachers cannot even address the children.
Absolutely.
But you cannot still use that as an excuse. Because like you said, in other countries where they don't flog the children, you don't even raise your voice at the children. You have to, I don't know how the teachers there do it, looking at how children act sometimes, but they still have to point out when, like you said, there's an antisocial behavior in a child. Also, instilling moral values in your children is still very important. Instilling moral values in your children.
Absolutely.
So that when they go out there, they would know that picking up, you know, it takes a certain kind of mindset to do such a thing.
Absolutely. There are some, you know,
let's start from there.
You know, talk of stabbing another human with you. Wonder what has happened to all the religious studies, thou shalt not kill. Of course, we don't know the particular background of this child, but typical Nigerians, you would expect that she has some form of religious teaching.
Or morality, even if it's not, even if it's not religion, at least.
Yeah, and if you even talk about morality, and let's say she doesn't even belong to any of the major religion, if you even go back to traditional society and their religion, they had the instance of killing, but on individual basis, they are something that are abhorrent to society.
And then people should also stop violence at home.
And coming from a girl child. Unfortunately, we are discussing that today. That is
International Day of the Girl Child. That means you need to pay more attention to your children. Know what they are doing. Know what they are capable of. Have that. Instill those moral values in them. And then the violence at home. You should also stop the violence at home, because you are building people who go out there and take the violence out there. Let's go to Kaduna State. Kaduna, okay, at this point, let's go on a break. After this break, we'll be back. I'm eager to go to Kaduna State, but we'll go together, all right? But let's go on a break, and after this break, we'll be back. Please stay with us.
The people of Maiduguri need your help. A catastrophic flood has engulfed the city, leaving over 1 million residents stranded and fighting for survival. Entire communities are submerged, people trapped inside homes and on rooftops, cut off from food, clean drinking water and essential supplies. Health experts are warning of a potential outbreak of deadly diseases, and medical facilities are out of commission. The situation is dire. Helicopters, boats and high-riding trucks capable of navigating the treacherous, waterlogged areas are urgently required to reach the countless men, women and children still awaiting rescue. The Nigerian media is issuing a desperate plea to the government, humanitarian organizations, international actors and citizens across the nation. Step in now, before it's too late. For more information, Professor Usman A. Tar, the Honorable Commissioner for Information and Internal Security, Borno State, on 0809-233-3955. Every second counts.
This is powered by Atlantic Television Network.
From lands across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all the sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economic, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN.
We appreciate you for staying with us. Let's move on to our next story. The Kaduna Chief Magistrate's Court sentenced 21-year-old Ibrahim Osman to 8 strokes of the cane for stealing a she-goat. Usman admitted to the crime and pleaded for leniency, claiming he was misguided by friends. The magistrate, Ibrahim Emmanuel, showed mercy due to Usman's quick confession, but warned him he was caught by a vigilante group with a stolen goat and confessed to taking it from his neighbor. The crime violated the 2017 Kaduna State Penal Code. I saw a picture of him, being caned. What do you think about the story?
It sounds funny that he caught. I thought such punishments are within the jurisdiction of the Sharia court. Funny enough, it's a magistrate court. What came to my mind is that sentence right? Wouldn't a community service be better for the society and for the guy? I mean, a community service, the guy would have served the punishment, given some hours of work, and society would have somewhat benefited from that. At maybe if he's even sent to a market to clean up the market, at least society would benefit from that, while at the same time he suffers the punishment. I mean, he would work without getting paid, so that's punishment enough. But here, flogging the person, 8 strokes of the cane. I even want to look at it. I'm lost for words. 8 strokes of the cane. Isn't that a little bit of dehumanizing? Not even in the number of cane now, but to
flogging him in the first place.
Yes, isn't that? I mean,
compared to
whatever. Though discipline must not just be flogging, but somehow. But now, bringing it to the courtroom, sentencing somebody to strokes of the cane.
Even the way the story puts it was quite funny. He was sentenced to. You're expected to see something else, and then you say 8 strokes of the cane.
Is that a deterrent enough? Then isn't that a little bit more humiliating, like serving when in the era of human rights and human abuse and all those stuff? Like I said, I think I would have preferred a community.
But the question at the end of the day will be, what does the law say?
Absolutely,
I'm taking it back because that is from a courtroom.
Yeah, they quoted. Now, what they quoted is the Kaduna Penal
crime
Code. Yes, that's
what was quoted.
Yeah, but not the punishment. I mean, if there were alternative to strokes of cane, I think I would have preferred that.
Not because strokes of cane is more lenient.
No, it's looking at it from the human perspective. I think it doesn't belong here. It sounds like an anachronism. It doesn't belong to the 21st century. Strokes of cane. That's something we had our grandparents talk.
That is actually what is stated since the crime was quoted. Maybe what comes after that? You get what is the punishment?
I think
that's a big question.
2017 is not just some less than a decade. So
all right, so you actually feel like it should have been community service. Let's move on to palliative.
That's my thinking.
All right, let's move on to palliative now. The federal government began selling subsidized rice in Ogun State on Thursday as part of initiatives to support Nigerians. The Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kyari, represented by Mrs. Toyin Ayo, emphasized that the distribution is monitored by several federal agencies to ensure transparency and security. The purchase 50 kg of rice for 40,000 naira. Individuals need to provide their national identification number and an ATM card. Kyari praised Governor Dapo Abiodun for his commitment to citizens' welfare, noting Ogun's organized approach to distribution. Governor Abiodun acknowledged President Bola Tinubu's efforts to address food inflation and enhance food security amid economic challenges, especially after the removal of petroleum subsidies. Okay. Yes, subsidized rice and the requirements, especially...
Beginning again. How many times did you begin something? The LG begin sales of rice. We have heard this word begin, that particular word begin. How many times do you begin a particular process? Now somebody will say, oh, he's just talking of Ogun State. How many times will we say it? Bags of rice is not, the governor say, oh, it shows commitment to alleviating food. This is a one-off thing, for crying out loud. How does it address the food item is not just rice that is, the price is overboard. Every other food item, why is it just rice? What happens to gari? What happens to yam? What happens to the beverages? I mean, come on, government can do better than this, can come up with a better idea. I don't need a national ID card to buy rice. I should just walk into the market and buy rice. I don't need government jamboree to get a bag of rice. Tomorrow you hear something again, they say...
But we have been told that if you want to purchase it, you go with your NIN. And your ATM card.
Yeah, your ATM card. What of that woman that has no ATM card? I mean, let's not deceive ourselves. We still have underbanked people. We still have many people that are not captured in the banking system, that do their business. They have no bank account. They just buy, you give them cash and all that. Now, that means that woman will need to go through a third party to get the rice, and these are the people you supposedly want to serve, rural dwellers. You have many of them that has no bank account. You need to have a bank account before you have ATM, right? So if you don't have an account, how do you get an ATM? So you will need a doyediri to help you.
That's very, very, very sad.
Oh, did I say doyediri? That's the government.
I thought you wanted to mention my name.
Yeah,
that's why you said doye. Okay,
yeah,
all right.
Not diri. Yeah. So,
well, that's fine.
Like.
So you feel the government, remember the reason for this in the first place, right? The price of bag of rice at the moment is up there. And when we talk about some of the food that we consume, you look at rice. You go for occasions, rice. Yeah. It's a staple, yes. When you talk about Nigerians, you look at rice, right? Remember our popular Nigerian rice and all that. Yeah. But then, that is why the government decided to come in.
How many bags does the government have to sell that will satisfy this script? Because you're trying to curb food inflation, food scarcity, curb hunger, and a one-off selling of rice cannot solve it. It's a bag of rice you're selling to a person, not a trailer load of rice. How far can that go?
Another question I want to ask is why do you think that the government would usually just settle for, or should I say go for, sharing of grains when you talk about hardship and hunger? If
you ask me, the government lacks idea on how to solve the problem. They opted for the seemingly easier way out, palliative, and it's obvious that they can't. Running a government of palliative is not even as easy as it seems, because you need to have it every time to constantly dish out. So human wants, society is not developed by giving palliatives. Let people have the ability to go for what they want. Let people have the capacity to take care of themselves, not running palliatives.
Even the palliatives that are being given out, how effective have they even been?
If you ask me, very ineffective. I have not seen one as a person. I'm yet to see anybody, a real person, that say, oh, I got it.
From the right place, actually.
Whether right or wrong place, I'm yet to see anybody that...
Because during COVID-19, we saw a lot of people.
Oh, that's a long time ago. Yeah,
we saw a lot of people.
Let us not even go there. During the COVID-19, I saw one or two persons that got it, but what they got left a sad taste in the mouth, a pack of noodles. And that was it for that
I'm even making reference
to Naira that day. You are taking it to the senatorial district. Do you have data of those you intend to give it to at every point in time, or it's another jamboree, and another activity that is meant to achieve nothing? Could it just be another imaginary rice?
And remember, it's not for sale. So this is not even something that would say,
this is for sale. Okay, this is 40,000.
No, I mean the traders now, not the government now selling it to the people. Because for you to buy, you have to go with your. If it's the traders in the market, what are you going with your NIN for? They'll just give it to you.
Exactly. So all the trader needs is.
Yes. So this is for individuals now to go there and buy it. But you made mention of something I really haven't heard anybody mention so far. We've been discussing this initiative, the public opinion. So you're saying that the government should have asked the people what they really want? Because you said they didn't even ask the people what they wanted, if this was what they wanted.
No, you see, when you talk of public opinion, you see, no doubt, rice is a staple like we noted. People want rice, but is this the manner they want it? Do I want to spend the whole day, the whole week lining up like we read in Abuja? People say, oh, they spend days trying to get rice, so much so that they say, oh, today is for journalists, today is for this thing. Is that what I want? Do I want to spend the whole day attempting to buy rice, not forgetting that I have another day to spend trying to get fuel if I opt to go to an NNPC. Is that what I want? I want a situation where I am capable of buying this into the market and get it for myself, not at a cutthroat price that the only option I have is going to government, not even designated centers. Because if they really have it in substantial quantities, there should be designated centers known to people where they can easily go and get it and not spending the whole. These are man hours.
You know, some people have called these measures as emergency measures. And they have said that they're not taking away the fact